Alright boys and girls, and welcome back to another building video. This time I'm bringing you guys all the Noir. Stab at a guess at what show I've been watching. This bad boy is a pretty nice base for some smaller teams to utilize. Takes advantage of a kind of wide core setup that makes the base feel much more spacious, whilst keeping that raid cost nice and high for any potential offline raids, allowing you boys to cuddle up with your teammates and sleep peacefully at night. As for the perks, the base just looks cool. Got some very tight window angles in the shooting floor, thus the standard tight angles coming through that gatehouse too. The compound turret angles are amazing, and everything has a dedicated place in this base, allowing you guys to do actual wipes. One of the nicest little bull roofs that's covered by some tough to take out turrets, and if you've got a really keen eye, you may have spotted that we've got 3 armored roof bunkers up there too. Overall, this is just a nice little combination of everything you guys will need, packed up into a very affordable cost, the average little team. Hopefully you guys are well impressed, and I'll go ahead and take you guys on a tour now. Alright, let's get started off with the tour of the Noir. Now, we do have a 3 external base on this one, so 4 TCs total. Just a standard disconnectable here with a freehand bunker this time. No anti-siege tech on this one, because I couldn't fit it in. But it's fine, we don't need it. That's how you disconnect the TC, that's how you open the TC, and it's pretty minor upkeep on these ones out here. Coming around to the gatehouse, and there's 3 of them. We have spots for beds in here too, and you can throw a box next to the stuff as well. And we've got some pretty nice angles to look out here from the gatehouse, and then in through to compound. You can see that angle when the high wall's missing, opens up nice. Coming straight in, 2 turrets are watching us, and they're far away from chain link, which means they're hard to break. Got a nice little area here for base bitch kind of work. Spot for planter, mixing tables, all that good stuff. Really tight, easy to place furnace funnel here with some great peaks to play off of. And of course, if those high walls are gone, we're going to have a lot of angles on this area, and this is exactly where we expect raiders to blow, as the wooden high walls are very cheap to take out. And when they're playing off this, you guys are going to have a field day. Lots of angles here to hold them down from. You can see those turrets are not fun to push in past. If you like building and you're looking to improve, my Discord is a wonderful place to be. We've got multiple great builders, including me, to answer any questions that you may have, an extensive moderator team, and if it's my building style that you like and you don't want your base layout to be visible on YouTube, then you can open a ticket and look into getting your own custom base design for your own personal use. Cheers lads, let's go on with the tour. Wrapping around, you can see the compound is pretty much symmetrical all the way through. We have 3 ways into the base. And a little bit strange, we have a turret watching straight into our front door. Now, with the turret limit, it's very rare that you'll see a turret with this kind of coverage, and there's a very good reason why we have that turret, and you'll see that later on. Spot for a refinery too, you can't complain. A couple of spare squares in here as well. If you don't need the refinery, that could be planters or something else. Little idea there as to what that turret's doing, but essentially it's multi-purpose. It's covering something else too. 3 mobility chutes can take us up to the 2nd floor as well, which is super nice. And this is kind of our wide core area here. Everything in this area is actually 2 walls, which is super nice. We have honeycombing all the way through, and these big stacked loot rooms as well. Gives a nice open feel from quite a small starter, expanding into a pretty nice enjoyable base. Now you can see that turret's 2nd purpose is to keep an eye on this loot room for us. Not going to be easy to push in from any breaches here, and it's going to be tough to loot those boxes as well. Get a little bolty in that turret, and it's not going to be fun for the boys to deal with. Super nice turret there, really like how that one works. And of course the ramp can act as a retake as well for base owners to use too. Wrapping around, this is our entrance to the core, and it is just a quick little circle core down the bottom there. Super simple, super basic, and of course we've stair bunkered that as well. Stair bunker can break from the inside there just by popping the twig. That's our main TC upkeep in the middle there, nice and affordable. No problems there at all. You can fit a decent amount of stuff down the bottom here, and it's easy enough to expand from. And that's how you seal up the bunker, just placing it through the wall, just like that. Super simple. Keep in mind the stair bunker's not on console, but there are 3 more bunkers that are on console in this base, so not a big deal. Got some nice Patrico angles here from the shooting floor for you guys to utilize. Good head glitches that allow us to look down if you use deployables, and of course you can just stand spray from far if you need to as well. Really like the shooting floor roof combo in this one. That is a really nasty angle that actually provides a lot of coverage downwards into compound and far away. Not a fun one to fire back at, boys. Really not easy. Quite a tight Patrico angle there, which is super nice. Then these are downward angles as well, going to give us some more coverage into compound. You can swap out that door for just now so we can use this a little bit better. You can see it's staring straight down at the funnel, and you can't ladder or fall through this either. Super nice angles here, decently stable as well, and it's going to let us see down towards the front door, wrapping around in compound and everything else like that. Then we have 6 of those tight windows again, wrapping around, giving us really great angles. 3 jump ups coming through here too, with more angles too. And then a really nice ankle biter into our bowl roof. You can see we can see all of the roof from here, which is very handy. And I'll jump out onto roof so you guys can see. 3 turrets are covering in the roof here, and they're not easy to HV from any minis or something like that. Not going to be a fun time at all. Got some great crouch angles here, and you can utilize that multi-TC gap as well, which is super nice. Really nice little bowl roof here. Not easy for raid bases to see down into the depths of this one as well, which is nice. That's the benefit of the bowl. And we got some angles out here next to our turret too, which is cool. Lets us see down below into compound, and a little bit further out as well too. Super nice, and of course that chain link is going to keep our turrets safe. Now you can see we have 3 roof bunkers here, and ideally I'm just throwing a locker in these. That seems to make sure that nothing pops. Only issue with having roof bunkers sometimes is deployables can despawn, so locker seems to be like the best one to go for from prior testing. So I would go for that. But hopefully you guys are really impressed with this base. I do think it's an absolute banger, and I'll go ahead and break down the build cost for you now. First of all, on screen is the total build cost. Second up is that build cost in box amounts. And lastly is the total upkeep spread between 4 TCs, and the main TC is holding the majority of that upkeep. Now you guys have got all the information that you need. Let me go ahead and show you now how to build her. And we're in with the tutorial of the Noir. Not gonna lie boys, I'm a little bit sick at the moment, but we persevere. Video's gotta get out before force, because you guys are gonna need this base. Starting off with a circle core, and we're going to get a little shelf here. And of course, don't forget that double half-wall section so we can have our bunker. No triangle jump up here needs to be deployable to make sure you have your stair bunker. But if you're on console, just leave that out and give yourself an extra triangle inside the core. Because console does not get the stair bunker, but you'll still get the other bunkers on roof, so it's still a valid base to build. That's our little starter base core for just now, and I'll show you how to seal the bunker. And you can do that really early on, which is super nice. Just like that. Pretty beneficial to have that so early on, and of course we're going to need that TC too. You can do that at the end. Since I somehow forgot, you can slot that down there. And there we go, breaking this wig opens the bunker, and that's that. Starter base completed. Outside we're going to spam squares and triangles to complete our full footprint. Then in the middle over here we're going to do a little setup. So we have that chain link, we have the extended loot room, and then we have the ramp peak. Keeping in mind that we do have 3-sided sim on right now, so everything we do needs to be repeated 2 more times, symmetrically around the base. So from that double door, we have the ramp peak on the right, and the loot room on the left. You can see that loot room is 1.5 tall, so we can fit some extra boxes in there, and then just get that ramp down just like that. Over here, that's the spot for all of the boxes. And then you can just spam triangle shelves there, so we can fit a total of 6 large boxes in there. And they're nice and easy to access too. Get all your shelves down and seal that up. You can break that temporary triangle around the back. This is going to be where our mobility chute meets up at the base. So add in that single door, double door. And then wrap around walls towards our loot room with some door frames there too. In the center we also have door frames, and they can be spammed throughout. Ideally getting some garage doors in here when the time comes. Ceiling on top of that, and that's that done. Now we are going to be rushing for compound here. So coming off of where the chain link is going to be, we can do a standard little hexagon here, out towards a gatehouse, and then we'll build that gatehouse so you guys can get the compound down. Gatehouse is the same one that I've been using throughout the past 2 videos. I really like this one, and it's coming in pretty handy in the actual wipes. We do add an extra airlock on this since we have beds inside of here. We'd rather have those not be one door accessible from the outside. Then you just add in your nice Matricos. And we cover it up with a ramp so that the turret has more downward angles. And then that's for chain link out there far away. Once you've done that, we're going to do the multi-TC side so that we have some bunkers, and then we can spread the upkeep around. Building out with 7 squares, capping off with a triangle, and then returning with triangle half moons to get us that build out done. Finishing off that hexagon there, and then we can upgrade it all to stone. All the rest of that twig, we can take that out now, and we do a short build out here to complete the footprint of our shell. Connect these triangles up with the rest of the footprint, and then we're going to rush an external on this. These triangles are technically not connected until that half wall and frame is placed. Then they're linked up with the rest of the multi-TC build that will now connect to an external TC. We start off with a breach peak and compound, and then we're building out 4 squares for our external, and that disconnect plus the bunker we're going to throw in there too. Standard free-handed bunker, if it's not your favorite bit of tech and you do struggle with it, just go for a normal TC, but I do stress that you should probably go for this one. Super nice early on. When you have no metal frags, you can still turn your external into a 2C4 raid with purely stone, when you need to keep that metal frags for doors and such weapons early on. Swap that out to a triangle so we can still disconnect, and that's our bunker there. You can now rotate these to make sure that the gaps are covered, and you can throw a TC in there too. 4 frames to link back towards the base as well. This is our bridge peak over here, and if you just throw down these walls and half walls, you'll have enough stability to link those 4 frames together. There we go. Next from there, we can complete the entire bridge peak with some windows on the left and right, and a low wall in the center. Give a spot for a turret down below, and then of course the ramps to play off of. Wrap it in frames so we can get some chain link on here too. And there we go. For the furnace funnel, we do a short build out over to the side here, where we float a little half wall and a low wall. Give us something to play off of while raiders are dealing with the furnace funnel. And that should float just fine. And then you can break the foundations. For the high wall placement, of course you can demolish high walls now, so even easier. It's a 2 high wall seal, and there are a lot. And once you place your 2 high walls down, you can throw a furnace in there too. We're just making a nice 90-degree angle between 2 high walls. Make sure you got no gaps going on. And utilize the Alt key to make sure you're doing it in the right spot. And the large furnaces go in, and they should be easy enough to place. And make sure we're making those nice and tall, so they actually work well as a furnace funnel. There we go. Upgrade all that to metal so we can disregard it. And we're going to work on the little shell at the bottom now. We can seal in the triangles at the back here, leaving that half wall open at the top. And then start by making our entrance wrap around over here. That's going to be our mobility chute, and the turret's going to go underneath that jump up, of course. Around the back, we have the spot for the little base bitch section, where we can get mixing tables, a little farm going, and all that good stuff too. That's where the turret's going to go, underneath here. And that's going to watch the front door, into the shell, and of course up through into our loot room, which is super nice. Then you can wrap around the rest of the shell, adding the walls so that the gap is facing towards compound, instead of a gap facing in towards main base. Very important, that one, so keep that in mind. Once you've done that, we can add frames for our shooting floor, and then we can add in these roof ramps for honeycombing. The square roof ramps, they need to be going onto the floor. You can see I'm placing it towards the base, so that that gap again is towards compound. And that's going to let us get a frame underneath, which we will need for shooting floor. Cover up your jump ups now. And continue that mobility chute going all the way up. Underneath here, we can now add in those frames. And those are going to come in handy for our window floor. We can also raise up some frames from the little base bridge section. And round the front of our front door too. Over this side, it gets a little bit weird. We're going to add all of this around the front. You're not going to be able to replace that square. You do need to make this metal. And then you'll also need to split the roof ramps for now, which is easy enough to do. As long as they're not already high qual, you just mismatch the roof, place the square, and then rematch the roof below so it seals up nice. Giving us our honeycombing throughout every part of the base. Over on the window floor, we'll start in front of the mobility chute by adding some windows here. And then we turn those into petricos just like so. In between, we do need walls there, and then we can add doors to bring us through to the window floor. In between, we do windows again, and then walls on the left and right with windows in front. Again, those walls are super important. They provide stability to the roof, so they cannot be windows, they need to be walls. Wrap the frames around the front and raise frames up to roof height too. And we're going to float a floor frame here as well, and that's going to come in handy for that nice little peak that we make. Now we're adding in the roof ramps there, and you want that to be a DLC roof or at least metal. If you're on console though, and the gap is too tight with the standard roofs, you can just leave that roof ramp out and leave it as a normal Patrico and it still works fine. Wrap around the front here, this is above our front door, and that's going to be where the bunker lies too. Add honeycombing for the front of the bunker. And then around the back here, you can either choose to do the standard bunker I've been doing, where you have all 3 triangles, or if you'd like to be a little bit safer from the outside, you can have just a singular triangle, where you throw either a box or a locker or some barrels in there. And just double check before you start filling that up with deployables that nothing's going to despawn, because sometimes the roofs clipping through the wall can despawn deployables, so just be careful with that before you store your best stuff in there. Wrap the frames around shooting floor, create that little bow roof in the middle, and then we can add all of our floors down. Once you've done that, we can create the spot for the turret over here, with a breach peak around the back. Turret just goes in the middle there, with a couple of roof ramps here. If you're having a red issue like me, it needs to be either rotated or metaled up on those frames. Make those DLC roofs so you can see a bit more. And we'll add some low walls here so we can utilize the peak in between them. That's our bunker there, and if you want to throw a deployable, I recommend just going inside, placing the deployable, and then F1 killing makes life much easier. Then throw these roofs down on top and make sure the bunker stays open after placing those roofs. And then throw your windmill down. And once you've done that, that completes the base design. Hopefully you boys and girls have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. This base is an absolute bang, and I reckon you lot are really going to enjoy this one. Remember to check out splits.gg, and I'll see you boys and girls in the next video. See you in a bit.